Just a few days ago, Georgia was planning to take up arms against Russia and open a second front against it. But when Russia seems to be the weakest on the ground, Georgia has backed down on its earlier rhetoric. It has adopted Gandhi's non-violence. Hello and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of TFI Media Group. I'm your host Palak. Let's begin. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili claimed that Georgia could have been turned into a shooting range if opposition leaders had managed to take control of the country. He said that Kyiv harassed Tbilisi to join the confrontation with Russia. Garibashvili said that attempts by Ukraine to establish a second front against Russia in Georgia were not a legend, but rather a direct quote from remarks made at a news conference. He made this claim in a speech to Parliament on Friday. He alleged that Georgia would have been engaged in a war against Russia had the opposition been in power. Garibashvili said, "These people are their allies. Imagine if these people had been at the helm of Georgian government today. Does anybody have any doubt that a second front would have been opened in Georgia, turning the country into a shooting range?"
After staying 7 days in YT jail, we are back. We don't know if they'll allow us to stay peacefully. We don't know when the next ban will be announced. And that's why you must download the TFI app. Apple users can simply go to the App Store, search for TFI Global and install the app. And since Google Play has banned us, Android users can download the app from the link in the description. We are in for a long haul and only your support can help us fight this war.
A number of officials in Kyiv, including the Secretary of the Ukrainian National Security Council, Alexei Danilov, called on several nations including Japan, Poland, Moldova and Georgia to open up a number of second fronts by attacking Russia. Ukraine attempted to open fronts not only in Europe but also in Asia. It asked Japan to seize border regions of Russia like the Kuril Islands shortly after Russia began its military operation in late February. However, no one paid any heed to Zelensky's attempts at triggering a major conflict in the region. This hasn't been the Georgia government's stance since the beginning of the war. Garibashvili belongs to the same Georgian Dream Party, which suggested conducting a poll in September to determine whether Georgians desire a conflict with Russia. According to reports, the Georgian government was considering conducting a countrywide vote on whether or not Georgians wanted to fight Russia in war. The proposal was introduced by the party's chairman, Georgy Kobakidze, at a news conference held at the headquarters of the dominant Georgian Dream Party. Mr. Kobakidze emphasized, "Let the people decide if they want to open a second front in Georgia against Russia." He further added, "We will act as people say." Russia has recently withdrawn from Kherson, and Western media is portraying the withdrawal as Russia's biggest defeat in the war. Shouldn't Georgia clinch the opportunity to take up a war against Russia? Clearly, Tbilisi doesn't want a war against Moscow, as the reports start to emerge that the final battle for Kyiv is about to begin, as Russia's forces are lining up at Ukraine's borders. So, after months of deliberating on whether Georgia should open a second front against Russia, its PM has backtracked. Irakli Garibashvili is no Vladimir Zelensky. He has realized that war against Russia can be lethal and can make Georgia lose South Ossetia. Therefore, he has opted for Gandhi's non-violence.